Microsoft Teams. The Microsoft List user experience that was announced in May is now coming, and we've got a little bit of an update on how they're going to do that. And we're getting ready for Microsoft 365 Copilot. What steps do you need to take? And oh, by the way, we do have a callback. It's pretty important, so stick around.
Should I roll it, Daniel? Daniel, do you ever watch that intro and go, who are those two young fellas?
I actually, in my mind's eye, I'm younger than those people, so I don't know.
Oh, wow. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. We've got some things to talk about.
We do.
Some that have been talked about in the community, on social media, and various places. Yeah, good opinions being shared. We, of
Indeed.
course, are going to deliver value, so you know what to do. Well, Daniel, fill them in.
Smash that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up in Teams. No, in YouTube. Not in Teams.
In Teams, why not?
Well, do it Teams.
React in Teams.
Share this. Share this episode in Teams. Might as well do it. You know what you need to do? Break the rules. Go into your all company team. Put it in the general channel. Just do it right now. Go for it. Do it.
At mention everybody.
At mention everyone. Do it. Do it now. No, everyone, thank you so much. And if you're listening to the podcast, please go ahead and give us that star rating on the podcast, whatever podcast app you're using, because we're on all of them that matter. So we're there. So use it.
Yeah, that's right.
And make sure you hit us up on socials. We are 365 MCS on all of the socials that are important. We're there. We're listening. We're responding. Maybe sometimes late. I just responded to something that was a couple weeks back, and I'm like, oh man, how'd I miss it? I just missed it in all the things. So anyway, we will respond, and we'd love to engage with you there. So make sure you ping us.
Hey, Daniel, about that prize you were talking about to award to someone who you don't remember, like someone who would share regularly.
I do.
Yeah, how's that going?
Not very well, because frankly, people, we see all the watchers, we see all the listeners, we see the numbers. The numbers don't lie. We're just not seeing the sharing happening that much. So, it's like I'd love to give away. I actually have. Did I ever mention what I have?
No, you are very mysterious about it, which I think is a tactic.
Oh, is it a good tactic? It's a tactic.
It's mysterious.
Yes, it's mysterious. I have a 1-year subscription to something that I'm going to give away. Is that even
You're
more?
still being mysterious.
Still being.
It could
I
be
do it.
like a 1-year subscription to the backroom show chatter of our preparation for our podcast.
It would be amazing if that's what it was. It's not that great, but it will give you some productivity tools and extra storage in OneDrive. There's some hints. So I have a 1-year subscription that we're going to give away, but we need some sharing to happen. And so, if we see that sharing all over the place, we'll do the giveaway.
Yeah. Well, let's share now, Daniel.
Yes, let's do some sharing. This is one thing that was kind of a hot topic this past week on the socials in the community, that Microsoft's getting rid of stuff.
Yeah, sort of. The message has already been updated. The future of mail and calendar apps in Windows with Outlook MC 590123. If you're a Windows user and you haven't got Outlook on your desktop, maybe you are making good use of the mail app and the calendar app that are built into Windows to connect to your mailboxes in various different places. Well, guess what? And it was updated 20th of June. But by the end of 2024, the options you will have are the new version of Outlook, which is effectively Outlook on the web via Microsoft 365, Office 365. Now, what does that mean? That means that if you have a Microsoft 365 account, an Office 365 account, you'll be able to use this app built into Windows, and it is basically Outlook on the web.
You'll be able to use it.
Yeah, you'll be
I
able
like
to
how you
use
said that, man. It's like you're a marketing person for Microsoft. You're going to have the opportunity to use it, or nothing else at all, because we're getting rid of everything else.
Well, that's the thing, eh? Like, so if you don't have that subscription, maybe you've got an Outlook.com account, your Hotmail accounts and the like, then you'll just use the web browser. That's right. You won't have a app built into Windows as a mail client, as a calendar client. Just go to the web and use that. Might I say, Daniel, and this is maybe, I'm throwing in a tip here, but if you are there, why not use the Progressive Web App little button at the top in the address bar and install the website like it's an app? Because that's effectively what you're getting with this other option.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I think if you need a thick client, can I call it a thick client? Or has it been on a diet? Maybe it's thin now.
Thick, double C, thick, yeah.
It is. So it is. If you want some, people will start using other third-party, mail apps is what they're going to start doing. If this actually happens, because I feel like that gap of I want to use my mail for the personal email, but now I'm not going to have a Microsoft client to do that.
Yeah.
It just seems odd. And, I get the whole, people being upset about it. I'm not as mad, but because I basically use mail in the browser anyway, but it does seem kind of an odd move to basically say, Microsoft say, hey, we're getting out of the personal email business with desktop apps. Basically we're out. We're not going to do this anymore. So it does seem odd.
There's a third option here, Daniel.
Ooh,
if you have a Microsoft 365 account and an Outlook.com account, then you'll be able to sign in with the new Outlook client with both your work accounts and your personal account. Have them both in that same Outlook on the web experience, which is effectively what you get when you go to Outlook.com, or rather Office 365, Microsoft 365's online account.
See, but the third thing says users will be able to use the new Outlook for Windows with any personal email account, even without a subscription.
Even without a subscription. Hang on, what? Users will be able to... Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Which makes perfect sense because of what you were just saying. It's the Progressive Web App anyway, right? And so in Outlook.com, you could just go up there and click the button. So might as well.
Yep.
But what about, and I feel like this is the... it seems kind of strange but there are some people who pay when you get a personal, or a Microsoft 365 personal or family subscription. Okay, not the business side. You get additional storage in Outlook.com. Do you know that?
Yeah.
You get additional functionality. And so I would expect, that this, would allow those as well, but even without a subscription. So I'm just now reading that because I misread it before, and I think maybe you did too. But it says even without a subscription. So that's
okay.
Okay. Yeah. But still, I don't know.
So I think we don't know what this looks like, but I think that the Outlook client, if you don't have a 365 subscription, is just going to load the web browser version of Outlook.com anyway.
At the end of 2024.
Yeah.
So we don't know what this is going to look like in a year and a half. Because I'm sure it'll change between now and then anyway. And why they're giving us a year and a half notice, which is interesting. I guess they're removing Windows functionality. So
yeah,
they're
prepare.
Prepare people, because if you're using the mail and calendar app.
So that was one hot topic. Actually, and while we're here, Daniel, and this is just a comment on the message center, Daniel and I have noticed that the relevance column is a little
Not
skew
relevant.
F today. 3 bars, low importance or low relevance. I'm confused here. Anyway.
You are a pretty confused kind of guy.
Yeah, I think
Let me
that
give
if I
you.
had some analytics about that, Daniel,
Yeah, I was going to say. Let me give you some analytics. New Viva Connections analytics experience coming soon. MC598641. This is basically bringing the analytics that we know and love, in SharePoint. So you go to a SharePoint site, you can go to the usage of that site and see some analytics, see some nice analytics that's it's nice numbers and graphs and telling you what's going on and how people are getting to the site via, are they getting there through Teams or their mobile or a desktop? That is coming to Viva Connections. Now, if you go and say, I want the analytics from Viva Connections, you get to download a nice CSV and work with the data that way. So this is bringing nice functionality, that same kind of functionality, but to the Viva Connections experience. So in the message, we have some graphs, some charts here and things. They should look very common or familiar to you if you've seen the SharePoint analytics before. One thing that I did notice that wanted to call out, one chart that I've seen before, which is the usage details of how people came in to view the home experience. Teams versus Teams desktop versus mobile versus web versus SharePoint web, right? But then the last image on here is engagement details for dashboard cards. So being able to see, what the engagement was for, dashboard cards themselves, which I think is very important when you're creating these cards to have for your users to be able to, connect with third-party apps, all the way down to being very simple of a really nice link to some content on your internet. So being able to get that, that information on those apps. Now, engaged users, which is interesting. I don't know what the definition of engaged users for that one is. Whether that's, so I'm assuming it's someone clicked on it. That's what I'm assuming. Now, you know what assuming does or can do. But I think that's what it is. I hope it's not just view because that doesn't make sense. So I think it's clicks.
Well, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that definition of an engaged user in Viva Engage is that you viewed a message. So.
Yeah, but I don't know that you can, because you're going to put the dashboard on every one on the home page. How can, when it loads, that's an engagement? No, that's not. It's got to be a
see
click.
what you mean. Yeah,
It's got to be a click.
You got to click. Yeah.
So this will be rolling out beginning late June, so in now-ish, and expected to be completed by mid-July, and I can't wait. I think the more analytics, the better, frankly.
Yes. We all want to know how successful our Viva Connections experience is. Daniel.
You know what, Daryl?
Yeah.
What I really want to know is, how do I get ready for this new AI takeover of the world? How can I get ready for Copilot?
Well, glad you asked. There's a message that covers that, Daniel. Among other various different resources and links. Get ready for Microsoft 365 Copilot MC 600.245. I feel like they could have bumped the message up to MC 600.365 just to kind of, round that out, but it's okay. Look, everyone's excited about this Copilot. It's been mentioned in so many presentations and things about what's coming and how it's going to assist us with work. But we have to do a few things to prepare, or do we? Well, okay, let's. I feel like this is a message, Daniel, that we need to open up and show in a fuller screen. Let's do that because it's going to get bigger, right? So that's the message. There are a number of different partners, customers who are on a early access program, they're using it, they're getting into it, they're doing these things to prepare. Whereas we folk, we'll wait for a bit. But what is covered? Well, let's take a look at the blog post. This is why I went to full screen. Great blog post here that outlines it. And it was interesting to see the reactions and thoughts in the community as this information was shared. So general technical requirements and various things that you have to do. But one thing is you will need a Copilot license. Is that a surprise to you, Daniel?
No, not surprised at all.
No,
It's going to cost money.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. We've got a free experience with Bing, which looks at public data and the large language model that everybody shares around the world and benefits from. And then you'll have your own language model and related results and search and AI. That all is ring-fenced, so that kind of costs something. We just don't know yet.
And honestly, you mentioned that. I feel like we have gotten to a point, there's a lot of people that go, oh, it should be free, but, they already pay a lot of money and everything. But there's a lot of people now, though, that are using this and they're even paying for it in ChatGPT 4 and all this other stuff. There's people who are accepting that they need to pay for this technology and AI. And so I think some of that will come over. And to M365. You got to pay for it. I mean, there's technology, there's advancements, there's people, there's hardware, all of that behind it that it has to be paid for. It's not free. And in fact, the numbers we're hearing, the rumors anyway, of I don't know if it's been confirmed, but the rumors of how much it's costing those early adopter program people, it's not cheap. So.
No, but maybe it's a bit like buying the first model of a Tesla, and then it gets cheaper a bit over time, hopefully.
Maybe.
But yeah, the point is that you'll need a few things to make sure that this is available and working. So E3 and an E5 or E5 license. You don't need both. The products, of course, that you want to use it with. So people will have to be licensed for Outlook, for Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. Now, on the Outlook front is actually kind of related to our earlier message. Copilot's going to work with the new version of Outlook that is much like the Outlook on the web. It is going to be web-driven, and it has to be connected to the web. Don't expect to use Copilot without a web connection. So that you're going to need that. If you are an organization who's going to use Loop, then you need to have that enabled too. But the point is around this, you don't have to have these things turned on if your organization is not going to use that experience. It is Copilot where you're planning to use it. And I like that point you made earlier, Daniel, when we're preparing, is if you don't want to use Loop, or if you don't want to use Outlook. Hang on, how does that work?
Wait a minute.
Hang on now.
I think what people were latching on this past week onto were Microsoft saying, hey, if you want to participate in this program, when it's released to everybody, these are things you're going to need to do to get the full utilization of it, rather than these are requirements. It is not required for you to have and use Loop to get Copilot.
Nope.
It's not. The only requirement, true requirement, right, is listed right there, is an E3 or an E5.
Yeah.
Now, yes, you need an Azure Active Directory, but account. Do you know what happens when you create a user and assign them a license, an E3 or E5? They've already got the account.
Right.
So I don't know how you assign a license to somebody that doesn't have an account. So,
I think one other thing, though, that we talked about, while these are requirements, things that you must have, some of it obvious, some of it clear in terms of whether you choose to have that experience or not, there are some things that you can do to prepare that you probably should be doing anyway. And I think this is a good opportunity for them to tell organizations that if you want a great experience with Copilot, then you will improve your search. You will If you want a secure and an experience that doesn't overshare information, then you're going to improve your security and make sure that certain information isn't being overshared. There's another service which we talked about, I don't know, maybe a month ago, Semantic Index for Copilot. Don't have to use it with Copilot, but it is going to, you don't have to have Copilot to use it. Right. It will improve your search though, but it is important for the Copilot service because it's going to give a whole lot more context to what you're searching for and make that large language model match up with more of that context of what you're searching for.
Indeed.
The blog post talks also about a few things that they'll make available to help with adoption, like a Microsoft team, which is going to be available to be like a community of practice. But, you can either read the book here and go through and check a few things out, or in the message, if I go back to that, we did see let's just pause on this before we hear too much of it, but the Microsoft mechanics, of course, they went through this in a bit of detail, and I think it's worth a watch just to see this in action and see what you might have to do to prepare ahead of time.
Indeed.
Yeah. So that it's not to say that we have a date here about when things are rolling out. It's really just a general kind of thing about if you are an organization thinking about bringing Copilot into your organization, then start preparing and doing these things. And I think most of the effort's going to be around tidying up your security of information that might be overshared. Think about using security labels and various things like that, and improving on your search if you can.
Indeed. Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Daniel, let's
Yes.
go on to the next message. I think I've added enough to that list there. Let's hear about your list.
Aha! Microsoft List. User Experience Update. MC 600-726. This is something that was announced last month, I guess it was. Are we still in June? We are.
We are.
In May, the new list improvements, and this is... in fact, there's a blog post link in there that takes you to a blog post that Lincoln Damaris posted on May 2nd. It's got great information, some great GIFs that are playing through, showing you some fantastic functionality. So this is just an update saying, hey, this is going to be rolling out. We're letting you know. But, oh, by the way, there is some... not gotchas, but there is some types of lists that will not receive the list experience. So want to make you aware of that. So what Daryl's showing on the screen is is showing that blog post. The new forms experience is going to be great. Some nice improvements on speed and others. There's quite a few. So please take a look at that. The blog post there that's linked. But there are four general types of lists that are not going to get this new experience. One is if you're using a SharePoint framework extension on a list, then you won't get these improvements. Power App form on a list won't be able to get the experience. If you're using approvals, or you're using the playlist template, we've talked about the playlist template before, which is for videos, right? You're not going to be able to use this experience. Now, they're going to work on it and they're going to bring it to them later. Future rollout is the promise here, but won't get it immediately. So I think we highlighted a lot of these kind of things. I know I did in tweets and everything, posts and everything. So just wanted to kind of highlight here that this is what's happening. And that there are some exceptions, right? When they start rolling it out and you're like, wait, why am I not seeing the new forms experience? Well, but I'm on this list when I'm seeing on another list. It probably because of one of these four exceptions. And you'll get it later. And I'm guessing we'll get another announcement saying, hey, we're going to roll this out for those types.
Indeed.
So this is targeted release rollout mid-July. So we got a few weeks expected to be completed by late July. And then standard release late July through late September. So they're going to take a couple months to roll this out to everyone. So be excited.
Do I have
Come
to
on.
be? Do I have
Yes.
to be?
Be excited. I think that our next message, Daryl, is something that we really should share. It is really like, and do it easier. I hate the way sometimes you share things. It's just too complicated.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. That's a bit harsh. Microsoft Teams, new app sharing experience. Really? Woohoo! Looking forward to it.
Yes.
What is it? It is actually the sharing of the app, not sharing from the app. MC 602604. It sounded exciting to start with. But it's more about, hey, I've found a great new app in the app catalog, in the app store. I want to share that with a colleague, a workmate. Hey, have a look at this. So you will be able to do that using a new sharing experience. That sharing experience enables users to share their apps directly from the app details to a chat, to a group chat, to a channel. And just walk through it with me. I'm in the App Store. I found a great app. It's an app that Daniel and I have created to bring the 365 Message Center to you in a meeting experience. It's live. You'll be able to watch and add. No, we are not developers. Sorry for getting you all excited about that. But if it did exist, of course, you would say, what a fantastic app. What a great way for our team to keep up to date with messages. I'm going to use this new sharing experience in the app catalog, app store. What do they call this thing again? I forget. And share it into a chat, a group chat, or a channel. That's what it is. It streamlines that experience. I, Daniel, am someone who would still probably grab a link to it, drop it into a conversation, and then just
Why
give
would
a
you
bit
do
more
that?
context.
Why?
That's just what I do.
I agree with you. I think this is a. Now you can give a context by, hey, I'm here. Oh, I like this app. Do the share thing on that page, and then go back into your chat and say, hey, I think that app will be great. But I think it's just trying to make it a little easier and seamless. I'm already there. Instead of copying here, going over here and pasting, doing it there. Is it that big of a deal? Maybe not, but I like the idea of it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe a weekly job for you is to go through the store, find something new, share 3 apps, pass it on. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah. But that is rollout has begun and is expected to be complete in late June. Nowish. It's probably right there for you now. So go and share an app.
Just do it.
An app. I know. When I run those two, share a nap, it's not the same thing.
So I go to
Daniel.
Yes.
What's the outlook for the next message?
Well, it's the outlook. It really is removing stuff. That's what the outlook is. Outlook. Full settings window will be the primary landing page for the settings gear icon. MC600734. Now, I said it's removing stuff. Okay. It's not really removing stuff. Maybe if you use Outlook on the web like I do, it's an experience when you're trying to go to settings. You go to the gear, and what you see there is the quick settings pane. And sometimes it kind of is a pain, because the other kind of pain, because it's not the thing it's not the information that I want. It's all it is you can search Outlook settings. Now that is very useful because it searches everything. So you can go in there and say, start searching. Well, the most popular one I like is out of office. So you can search for that, automatic replies, and it'll show up for you. And then you can have theme settings, dark mode, a few settings there. But then there's this big button at the top that says View All Outlook Settings. Well, basically what they're saying here in this message is when you click the gear, it'll just take you to that. It won't show you the pane. It's just going to show you the all settings. Okay, so you're going to view all Outlook settings. And then if you for those eagle-eyed people, when you're in a message and you go to the View tab, the layout and density settings are already there in the View tab. So those were settings that you could quickly get to in the pane that they're getting rid of. Well, it's there already for you when you're viewing in Outlook anyway. So generally speaking, I'm okay with this. I will say though that I got used to this just clicking into the search box very quickly because my cursor was right there and I could go and find the setting I want. Now it's going to be click it. It's going to pop up this thing and I have to move my cursor over to the left and click on the search box and go. Is that a big deal? Maybe not, but that's what I'm going to have to do.
Yep. Can I capture that and use it as like a sound effect for something, Daniel?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So rolling this change out now, already they're rolling it out and can be completed by the end of June. So soonish.
A lot of that this show, aren't we?
Absolutely. A lot of that and a lot of not too many screenshots.
Yeah. Well, we do have a callback. We feel like it was necessary to talk about this. I actually have to plug this into search because I didn't add it to my favorites, Daniel. So MC. Do it with me, everyone on the show. Okay. MC 557823. Ready, go. It is.
This one we definitely need to talk about.
Oh.
And we mentioned it in, I guess, 5 episodes now ago. In episode 286 is when we talked about this.
Okay. I'll read it out again. Create a distinct experience in Viva Connections for different audiences in Microsoft 365 Admin Center, which we did when we originally addressed this message. We had to translate. It means you get multiple home sites.
Basically.
Well, about that. Daniel?
Yes. Well, and we covered the documentation, everything that was announced at the time publicly said, you get this new home experiences, which means Viva Connection experiences, right? I could be in one experience where I go to Viva Connections and I see a site, and then Daryl goes to Viva Connections and sees a completely different site for his home experience. And at the time, the public documentation said every organization that has a enterprise, an E license, then they would get up to three experiences. So what I just described, one for me and one for Daryl, that would work. That would be included. However, in the last week and a half, the learn.microsoft publication, the page was updated without any notice whatsoever, and it was changed from 3 to 1. So basically, you will not get multiple home sites unless you buy a Viva Suite license. Now, I'm pretty sure it's a Viva Suite license for everyone in your organization. So this went from, hey, there's lots of organizations are probably going to do this because almost every organization I talk to has some sort of division or some sort of thing that would be great to have multiple homes experiences, to now this is only going to be for those people who already have the Viva Suite, because frankly you're not going to buy a Viva Suite license for everyone in your organization just for this one feature. It's just not going to happen. Will this, along with 10 other features, get you to buy it? Maybe. But this is unfortunate. It was not announced. It was at all. There was a blog post put up, and it was just on the blog post of, you will get one experience. It was like, wait a minute. No one told us anything. Well, that's what you get, I guess, for trusting the documentation when it's published. So it has been changed. You only get one now.
Yeah, I'm highlighting that area in the Learn article.
Yeah,
if you're using
and I've got a screenshot. So I've got a screenshot where that used to say 3, but now it
Right.
says 1.
Right.
So anyway,
There we go. Yeah. I wonder, and I know this is just a wondering. It's not confirmed or anything like that. But where Daniel said we would have to license everybody, what if we only had to license the other 2/3 of the organization that need the additional home site? That would be nice. Wouldn't it be nice?
wouldn't it be nice?
As the song
No.
is. No. All right.
It says, no, I'm pretty sure it is going to be for everyone. I think I read that somewhere, but don't take licensing advice from me or Daryl.
Or me.
You need to connect with your Microsoft rep to do this, but it has been changed. And I feel kind of bad for all those people that I said, hey, everybody, you get 3, yay. Nope. So that's what happens.
Look, sorry to end the show on that note.
Wah, wah, wah.
But,
If we brought some value to you, please share this episode out at mention 365 MCS so we can see it. We can reply to it. We can really, and we can enter you into the sharing contest, right? So make sure you at mention us when you do share. We'd love to engage with you. Make sure you subscribe and give us a thumbs up on this episode, please.
And with that, we'll see you again next week.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye for now.